right. Starting the streaming in YouTube, starting the recording. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. We have a shorter lecture, I guess, today, because I realized that now I know. Yo, guys, we really started. Let's go. Yeah, kinda. Now I know that. Share the screen. Of course, I shall demonstrate your entire screen. There you go. I have demonstrated now. Great. So yeah, I'm really sorry for my delays. I hate this. But you saw me yesterday. If you saw the messages, you'll see why I was like working till late again. Okay, today we're gonna talk about types of filters in an equalizer. And we're gonna open the topic of equalizer. We will have 2 lectures about this, and then when we are seeing mixing in the second semester, we're gonna see this like from the more musical perspective. Like nowadays, we just see it like as a technical technical tool. That's as a technical tool. Before I start, I want to tell you that an announcement outside of our school, but inside of our school at the same time. You're gonna get an invite for another Telegram channel. What? Like another? I just decided that I'm gonna make this Telegram channel that groups like all the PO students, bachelor students, everybody in one Telegram channel, and then I will appoint administrators. So, for example, maybe I tell to Slava, you're admin, and so Slava can post too. And so if you want to get your like an announcement of a show, like I'm gonna play a show next week, and I want everybody to know. Then you just write to one of the admins like, hey, can you please post this? I would like to make everybody admin, but then it would be like a soup of mess, you know. And then Ilya will be an admin too, and Latoliais and me, and there we will post like videos, streams, like whatever, shows, like when you release a new song, you can put it there, this kind of stuff like that. So try to grab all the students of MMS from all the years, from everything, clients from DTH, like a mega. So it's called Epic and Unofficial Music. For the time being. So you will get an invite later, and then I will start appointing admins, and I hope it's useful. I don't know. I was thinking that it could be cool. So that's another story. So, okay, we're going to talk about the rationale and basic workings of equalizers. We're going to identify different types of filters. I know you know all of this, but we need to touch it. It's like, just because I know you know all of this, it's kind of like a teacher of mathematics saying like, well, I know you know this, but so I'm not going to cover it. And then it's like, come on. So we need to see this together. We're going to discuss direct and indirect ways of modifying the spectral balance. That's something that we left pending from last week, and make an experimental, you know, little demonstration. And that's what we're going to start with, actually. So I found once this GIF that is the best GIF in the world. Like, and so that's what we're gonna do now. That's what we're gonna. I totally see this happening in my basement with my son in the future. You know, one day. He's like, "Fuck, my gear is destroyed now." Oh, he was trying to make a recording, some mono overheads with an SM58 or something, and he's hanging the other mic from the roof. Shit. So yeah, we're gonna make this little this little demonstration now, but I guess I'll remove the GIF because we will not be able to focus if that GIF is going on there. So all I wanted to do with this little technical demonstration is to show you. Yeah, really gonna we're not gonna be able to focus. So yeah, like this is gonna help us, right? So I just want some black screen, so whatever. I'll go like this, and I'll leave this one there. Great. So we're gonna start. The whole point of this is that I want to show you, like, if I point a microphone somewhere and then I point it to another place, I want to see the spectrum and see like, oh, look how it changed. Bravo, and that's it. It's just very simple things, but this course is like that. Back to basics, you know, understanding sound from the point of view of a sound engineer. And so, okay, by the way, so I asked Murat, thank you very much, Muratan, to help me out with bringing this. Okay, хорошо. Thanks to everybody who helped me to bring me the Octava MK012 for those of you online. And this is that mic. Hello, Sanchez. For those online, this is the mic that I'm using. And by the way, you would have noticed that this mic has different capsules. So it comes kind of like naked. and then you need to complement it with one capsule. Let me show this to online world. This is a condenser microphone, a pencil condenser microphone that has different capsule. So what does the capsules mean? Do you know what does the capsules mean? Do you know what are these things? No. No? Great. No? No, I mean, I'm really excited that I can show you things, because if not, the course is boring. Do you remember the polar patterns of the microphones?
Oh, it's
like cardioid, omni. If you don't remember, we will discuss this very clearly and very deeply. But basically, microphones can hear. I mean, imagine that right now my hearing is very directional, right? Like I hear like kind of like more clearly what's coming directly to my ears. Imagine that I can switch a button in my head and then I listen like a sphere. So I hear everything in the same intensity from all directions, which would be pretty trippy, right? Like, I mean, I would be hearing the lamp as good as whatever is here. Or imagine that I can change a switch in my head and I can hear, I don't know, like I can cancel everything that's coming from behind me and I can hear Murad very good. Or imagine that I can switch a switch in my head or whatever, touch a switch in my head, and then I hear like, I cancel everything that comes from the sides and I only hear what's in the front and in the back. So these are different polar patterns. So microphones, I mean this microphone in particular, in order for it to have like a certain polar pattern activated, you need to change the capsule. It's not like that with all the mics, but with this one it's like that. So if you see here, there is a little like circle, you see? Like it's very small, so maybe some of you cannot see it. So if I put that capsule, the mic will hear in omni configuration. Omni means like in every direction, like I told you, like a sphere. But in here, you will see something that looks like it's like a circle that has a little like dingle or something. I don't know how to call it, but and then there is another one here. That's the one I'm looking for. That it's like a little, it's kind of like an inverted heart or something. You see? Or like a little ass, like a little dropa. So that's a cardioid. So what it means is that it cancels whatever is coming from the back. And so that's what we're going to use. So I'm going to connect it here. And now the microphone is ready to work. So we need to be very scientific about this. So who is going to be my acoustic guitar player? Murat is going to be my acoustic guitar player? Okay, great. I mean, you didn't make this choice, but congratulations. So let's put you here. Yay, bravo. Let's put you here. We expect you to play Polyphia like to the maximum level, like. Да, come on. We just expect you to play everything to the maximum level. So, this is cool and this is cool. So I have plugged this here, and I mean, all I want to do, to those of you online, can you see something? Kinda? I don't hear you. Can you see something, guys?
What you should see?
I mean, you should see
on the presentation.
you should see me putting a microphone here, like if you see my video. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, great. Great, okay. So what we're doing is putting a mic and making a measurement. Oh no, please don't. Yeah, great. Making a measurement with a laser. So let's do it. Let's shoot a laser to to Murat. Wait. So wait, just like to see what's the distance. I'm just curious. That's cool enough. So this is 1.5 meters. Usually, whenever you're making, let's see, like, are you like, so you're 2 meters 566 centimeters from me. Now let's see, Alexandra. So you're 4 meters 650. Great. So it's safe distance for social distancing, guys. Sorry. So okay, usually when you're making anything in sound engineering, 1 meter is like the standard kind of like measurement. For example, whenever you see something like the frequency response of a microphone, do you remember that? Like frequency response of a microphone, remember that? No? Heard this somewhere once? No? Remember, cool. Yeah, exactly. Whenever you see, like, just in case, I just don't know. Whenever you see in a microphone, like when you buy a microphone and you see the manual and then you see the frequency response, like that's always measured like 1 kilohertz at 1 meter. It's like a super standard in the world of sound engineering. The 1 meter thing is like super important. So when you hear, for example, airplane jet, it's 120 decibels. they're telling you at a 1 meter. You know, if you stand 1 meter away from an airplane jet, you will hear 120 decibels. It doesn't sound like a lot, but there is something in sound engineering called, it's super metal name, and I think I have said it in the past, it's called the threshold of pain, which is like the moment when sound starts being painful. That's 90 decibels. So, I mean, when you stand in front of a jet airplane, like you're 30 decibels above the... Yeah, I think it's, you can Google it. I may be wrong.
Yeah, Marvel said that it's 120.
Maybe for him.
That it's 130.
Well, let's see what Google says. Let's see what Google says. Yeah, I can be wrong. Threshold of pain, audio. Let's just see what Google says and let it. Threshold of pain. Yeah, well, I don't get over this joke. So let's see, audio. Sound, I guess that he's seeing it from another perspective. Sound. So 120 dBs, yeah, 130 dBSPL. I don't know why he's giving me several readings. So okay. No, but which one is the one? I don't know. Absolute threshold of hearing. No, this is gonna be the other side, the lowest one, I think. So yeah, the threshold of pain. Let's put it on 120. So let's see how loud is a jet engine. So thanks for correcting me there. Wow, I love this kind of websites. I hope that it works. What is about jet engines that makes them so loud? Yeah. Well, it's like a jet engine. How loud is a jet engine? So a jet engine, then it's 150 dB. So yeah, 160, 150, something like that. So that's pretty loud. Okay. So anyways, all of that things are measured 1 meter away. So that's why I want to put this microphone 1 meter away. So let's do this. And let's get you there. That's I mean, I'm going to put it 1 meter to the source. So not to Murat, but to the source, sorry. There we go. Wait, let me just point towards acoustic guitar. That's 1 meter and 58 millimeters. So yeah, I think that this is enough. And 992, that's too much. Okay, that I'm gonna leave it like that. I don't have to suffer for this. Yeah, okay, that's cool. And so we have this connected, and let me open loopback. So I make sure that I'm sending Ableton to the stream. Yes, and skip for now, and let's open Ableton. Check, check, check. Hey. Let me just do this so you guys will hear me better now. Wait. Settings, Zoom audio device. Hey, okay, great. So let's do this. Delete, and this is internal, external in, input 2. I need to make sure that this is connected. Universal audio Thunderbolt, and yeah, great. Input 1 is me, input 2 is the mic. Can I hear you playing 1 second? Okay, wait a sec. It's really important that you decide what to play and play exactly the same always. Wait. So I need to switch on phantom power because this microphone operates with phantom power, and I have done it. And can you please play? Wait. Sorry. So let me just mute this. Can you play? Okay, great. Yeah. So can we close those windows so we don't get the background noise? Or, well, at least we reduce it. Any other window open there, or? Can you close that, somebody, please? Can you please close the window? Окошко закрывайте. Okay, boom. So I like that we can see straight ahead. Let me put the spectrum. It's gonna be in audio effects, spectrum. So if I don't hear it, Yeah, great. Okay, great. So we will analyze this and discuss it. So let's go. This is so. Let's get a recording and then we will measure it. I forgot how to close this. Yeah, I need to just double click here, right? And go back here. Ah, yeah. Okay, are you ready, Bratan? Let's. I'm gonna play a metronome. Wait, and I'm gonna play it. You will see, like, so it doesn't get into our recording. It's gonna be on the headphones. Wait, well, I mean, it will get in our recording a bit, but. Wow. Ah, it's not connected. Okay. Let's just connect this to the headphone output. So, let's see. Yeah, you can see the metronome. Like, it's very quiet, but it's just so we try to make it consistent. So, look. That's all we need, really. That's all we need. Okay, so, bravo, bravo. Oh my God, woo! Да, okay. Okay, so now we're going to just flip this, and you're just gonna do this. Let's put it. Actually, I did some little change here, so because I'm very careful with this kind of things, I'm gonna do it again. I did some little change. I changed the height. I want the same height, so let's do the same thing. Let's wait. Let's go. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, thanks. So we're gonna make 3 measurements. Bravo! Actually, we're gonna make 4. So let's call this audio file, let's call it front facing. Cool? So now let's do this. I'm gonna put it like this, and then we're gonna call this window facing. Okay, same thing. Let's go back. Let's be quiet, guys. Let's go. Oh, sorry. I don't want to delete that. So let's just call this window facing. Window. Okay. So let's go. Shut up. We will hear you saying like, hear you saying like. No, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's go. I want more. No, just a sec. Checking something here. Okay. Okay, let's do it again. Let's go. Well, just no. It's just because we changed it. Yeah, just look at the difference. It's an insanely huge difference. So let's go to the next one. Duplicate this and let's go to here. And the next one we're gonna call it like computer facing, like look into the computers. So let's see if there is a difference on that. I really love to do these things, like these little audio tests. Like I really, yeah, it's really amazing. And actually, those of you who are coming to the studio with me, like, to get used to it, because it's gonna be like 6 months of doing things like this. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Fuck, sorry. Let me just arm another track. Let's wait for this thing to go away. The sound on the back. There is some truck, guys, for those of you online. By the way, I don't hear you online, guys, right now because I have everything muted. Let's go. Let's do it again. Давай. You know, I'm going to tell you a great studio advice. It's how to tell to a musician that what they played was horrible. You know, you can say, no, you can say this. I know you can do it better. Yeah, come on, I can do it better. Like I learned this really like it was a discussion with sound engineers and friends. Like can we do this? I mean, because you want to motivate a better performance, but you don't want to be negative. Some people are like, "You suck. That was horrible," and that's okay. But you can do it better. It's a great neutral way to say you suck. And if you don't like somebody else's music and they show it to you, you say, "I've heard something like this before. Thanks."
Твоя музыка индивидуальна.
No, tipo somebody shows you a song and you can say, "Oh yeah, I heard a band like this once."
You're not alone.
It's like something like that. It's kind of that's a neutral way to say like I didn't like it, but I mean or whatever. I don't want to comment. So, anyways, or another thing you can say is like I can hear it more carefully and tell you something later. No, that's not a good one because then they will be waiting for you to hear it more carefully and say something later. So I heard something like that before. Thanks. That's it. Okay, let's go. Let's go. You ready? Let's go. Wait. Let's stop again and let's go. Let's do the next one. This is computer facing. Let's repeat the window one. I'm suspicious that it was like so quiet. I really want them to be kind of like comparable to each other, and I'm really suspicious that it was like that. So we're gonna repeat the window. We're gonna repeat the window one. Let's go. Are you ready? Yeah, sure. Okay, let's do the window one. Let's do it again. You can do it better. I've heard something like this before. You got both of them, man. That must have sucked so much. Let's go. Давай, все. Давай. Let's go. Okay. So I'm gonna make it a bit quieter. We don't need to remake it again, but they should be comparable. Super. Okay, and now we will do the last one, which will be facing me, like let's call it facing Leo. So rename facing Leo. So let's go. Okay. So, oh shit. Okay, let's have a look. Once more. Once more. No worries. Давай. All right. So thanks. Bravo. Thank you very much. Super cool. Thanks. I think I broke this thing. Yes, it's okay. So okay, let's see what happened there. So to those of you online, in case you want to talk, now I hear you. Let me make a test. I know that you were not hearing the acoustic guitar because we were not also hearing it. We were just playing it. Yeah, I should be able to hear you. So that's pretty cool. And so okay, let's see the front facing. Starting with the front facing. No arm. I don't want to hear anything. Wait. Okay, let's see the front facing. I guess that there was a big zadierska here, and that's why it was like this. I need to move them. You know why that happened? Because of the buffer size. Like I was recording, you see, like the buffer size was super large, and actually you can visualize the buffer size there. So let's just delete this and move all these guys back. Yeah, if we would have been monitoring, hearing it in simultaneous, we would have noticed. Like, oh, but we didn't. So it's okay. Okay, so that's the front facing. Gonna get rid of the metronome. So remember, the whole point of this is to show you like that the spectral balance can be changed just by moving a mic. It's a very stupid thing, but I mean, we want to see that it's obvious, and I know we all know this. But let's see the spectrum, and let's do this. I tend to do this thing when I am doing this kind of exercise. So let me just get a photo of this. So that photo is the front facing one. Let me just call it how it is. Yeah, front. Let's rename this and let's call this front. This is how this kind of exercise should be done. And actually you will have across the year, you will have to do a lot of things like this, like little reports and things like that. And this is how you should do them. You need to make a screenshot and analyze it like scientifically. All right, let's see the next one. This is window. We will see it more clearly. We will see more clearly when we compare the photos. So this was front. The next one is going to be window. Rename window. Let's go to the next one. This one is going to be computers. Yeah. Thanks. So here we go. And we will really understand it when I get out of here and see the photos. I mean, obviously we already hear it, but let's go here. Thank you. This was computers, I think. This is computers, and the next one is facing Leo. So, okay, let's see this. So let's call it here Leo. Now, before we discuss this in more detail, let's see 1 second. What's up? Sure, of course. So before we go further on this, we need to see cardioid polar pattern. Who really has no idea if when I write that what that means? If I write cardioid polar pattern, like, do you have any idea what that means, or completely not? There is a completely not here. Okay, that's really cool. This is a great illustration, actually. So look, basically, microphones have electronics inside of them, right? And remember, we're gonna talk about him today, but remember this guy? Oh yeah, sexy French from the 19th century. So, I mean, because you can decompose complex waveforms into simpler waveforms and then sum the parts out of phase and get a new result, you can internally inside a microphone use the wiring of the microphone to get the signal and, for example, cancel what's coming from the back of the microphone. Like, you can also cancel what's coming from the sides. You can cancel what's coming from the front, but you would not like to do that. But so no microphone gives you that option, but you theoretically can do it. Why would you like to do it? Well, when you're singing in a show and there is a speaker on the floor, you don't want the output of that speaker to come into the mic because it would feedback. And it still feedbacks, but if it wouldn't be for if you use a microphone. So before I carry on to say that, there is something called polar patterns in microphones. Microphones come with that functionality. You know, there's usually a button or, like I showed you today, some little capsules that change the way the microphone hears. So it would be analogous to do like this. Imagine that I do this. So what do you think is happening to me now from this side? Like, if you guys hear, I hear you a lot more focused because I'm not hearing anything from there, right? So that's kind of like, in the world of sound engineering, there is called a polar pattern of my ear, you know, of my hearing. Like, how am I hearing right now? Well, I'm hearing in a kind of way that cancels whatever is coming into my left ear and only let me hear from the right ear. Now, if I stand like this, I hear like this, right? Imagine. Now, if I would have an ear here and an ear here, I would hear like a sphere. So these are called, and I guess I had a feeling that we discussed this in Foundation, but I think we didn't, so that's okay. In general, there is something called the polar patterns of microphones. Let me see if they show you here more than one, because you see, like, there are different polar patterns of microphones. So if I would have 3 ears, one in my front, one in the back, and the 2 ones, I will hear like a sphere. Well, I guess I need one in the top of my head and one here. That would be really nasty, but it would be it would be like that. I would hear omnidirectionally. omni, everywhere, directionally, direction. Cardioid, it would be like I was showing you now. It's like, imagine that I do this and I hear only in this configuration. So that means that I'm canceling frequencies that are coming from the back. And then there is another one called supercardioid. Then there is hypocardioid, hypercardioid, figure of 8. There are a lot. There are a lot of them. Actually, this video is designed, this article is for broadcast guys or ladies. So there are not all the polar patterns there. If you want to see them all, I guess that you would need a diagram that it's a bit more complete. This one is okay. Ah? Sorry? Okay. These are not all of them. These are not all of them. But maybe here is a better illustration because we have several. It's like, this is actually from a mic, like from an actual microphone. I don't know which microphone it is because they're really not perfect. You see, like omnidirectional kind of hears like a sphere, but there are these areas around here in which the microphone doesn't hear as clearly as from the front. And then there is a figure of 8, which is kind of similar to how we hear. It's kind of like we cancel things that are coming into our nose. Well, we don't cancel it. We really feel them, but because our whole head resonates. And then there is a cardioid one, which cancels whatever is coming from the back. And then there is a supercardioid, which is like cancels more than the cardioid. And then there is hypercardioid, which cancels even more, but has like a little fishka here. It's like kind of more focused, more narrow. And so that's a super, I mean, you will really study this with Ilya, so I don't want to blow his party, and I don't want you to tell him, you already told us this. It's like, he will really go in depth with this, so I don't want to touch this so much. But basically, this is really important in the studio and in the life of a sound engineer, because, for example, imagine that you have a drummer playing, and you have a snare microphone and a hi-hat microphone. Do you really want the snare microphone to capture a lot of the hi-hat? No, because I mean, then you will compress the snare, and then it's gonna be like in the snare, and you don't want that thing to be like that. So maybe you want to narrow down what the microphone is listening and blocking what the microphone is hearing from behind. And for example, imagine that I am the hi-hat, and Murat is the snare, and maybe you point to Murat and cancel me the hi-hat. You don't want to hear the hi-hat, you want to hear Murat. And so you use the polar patterns of the microphone, and sometimes they have a switch, and you're like, chick, oh, let me make it more narrow, so I can actually hear more of Murat and less of me, etc. So that's one of the things that is really happening here, and that's one of the reasons why microphones change the polar patterns, change the spectral balance of something. Same distance, same thing. Now let's look at those images. So this is front. Let me just put it in order. It was front. Well, the rest, it doesn't matter. So I just want the front to be the first one. Computers, and Leo was the last one. That matters because it's the one on the back. 04. So what's happening is that this microphone, I put a polar pattern. I put a cardioid capsule on it. So what it means that it's a cardioid one. What do you think it means? I mean, I know I said it like 30 seconds ago, but I just kind of checking your engagement. Like, what do you think it means? If I use a cardioid polar pattern there, okay, what else is happening? Yeah, canceling the back signal or reducing the level. So when the microphone was pointing to me, actually the back of the mic was pointing to the source, and so that was really canceling whatever the source was and really listening more to me. So now that you know this, it's really important. And also, like, I mean, the lateral side, when we had it pointing towards the window, let me let me do something like this. Wait, just quickly, it's gonna be a easier way to visualize this. Let's put it here. Let's put it here where Fourier is. And when I was pointing it towards the window, can I just rotate it clockwise by 90 degrees? Yeah, you see, like I was like, imagine here was a guitar. This was the first configuration. Like here was a guitar, and it was projecting like this. Then it was when it was pointing to the computers, it was like here was a guitar, and it was being projected like this. So you see, like we were kind of receiving in the receiving end, we were like this, and etc. I mean, you can obviously imagine what happens if I keep rotating. Like I went the other way. Let's go to this way. So when I was pointing towards Fourier, it was looking like this. So now that we know that, that's really important. Let's look at those spectrum and see if there is any useful information. Maybe it's just like a failure of an experiment, and and there is nothing there to watch. Like, it shouldn't be, but this is front, and this is window. And let me move on next to see what else I got there. This is computers, that's very interesting. And this is towards me. So front, computers, windows, sorry. Computers, that's really interesting. I mean, it can be also connected to the how intensely it was performed. Like, there are a lot of things there that... Let me look at the background one, not at the main one, because the background one, this is again like peak versus RMS. Remember that? So these two measurements are peak versus RMS. I think that the RMS one is the light one, and the peak one is the one on the back. This is window. Like, I think that in here, like, we are seeing the reflections of the glass. Like, notice that it has a lot more high end than this one. Like, we're capturing the reflections of the glass. And when I point towards the computers, let's see computer versus window. Look at this. Look at the glass. Like, focus on this area. I'm really speculating here. Like, maybe I'm super wrong, but it's what I interpret from this. And I mean, also, what is happening also in the computers, let me think about what's happening there when I pointed towards the computers. I mean, it can really be that it was performed more heavily, more loudly. And then when you point towards me, well, it becomes super quieter, obviously. The front one, the computer one, and I will make another set of screenshots later because I also don't know in which moment I took the I mean, I tried to make the screenshot in the same moment. But anyways, let's hear. This is Leo. You see, like, it sounds like as if it's in another place. Like as if it's in another room or something, like far away. Let me turn it up. And if I go to the next one, that's pointing towards the computers. That's pointing toward the window. So much more high end. But it can also be connected to how it was performed, obviously. And the front one, now I have the guitar, I can hear all the details. But for example, this position, computers one, wait, let me see, or window, which one? It's a useful position. Or maybe sometimes you want to just reproduce how it feels to hear something on a distance and you just have to flip the mic and that's it. I was really not expecting, I mean, you can hear the reflections, like what you're hearing there, it's their reflections. It's like what
Leo,
you're, yeah.
I don't understood. Computers, what does it mean? How you record?
Pointing towards the computers.
Pointing towards the computer. And front facing, what?
Looking into the mic. Look into the source, sorry, look into the source.
Okay.
And look into the window, and yeah. Okay. So
Yeah, okay.
yeah, cool. Clear? All right. So back to this. So great. I mean, I'm really satisfied with this sound, and I actually think it's really useful. Out of all of them, it's like I would use front facing or the back one. Like, it's really counterintuitive. Like, let's record acoustic guitar and you point the mic to the other side. Let's actually try something here creative, which would be to blend these two takes. There are different takes, obviously, but I can make some artificial reverb, right? Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice idea. So, anyways, great. That's a way you can alter the frequency spectrum of something. I wanted to do this with other mics and stuff, but I don't think it's necessary. All I really wanted to show you is that, you know, only changing the position of the mic is actually the same. Not the same. It just changes the frequency response of the whole thing. So, great. I have other things to talk to you about, and I have only 30 minutes because I don't want to I know that you have only a 30-minute break after this, and I don't want to take time, so I'm sorry that today's lecture is a bit shorter than usual. So we have done this, and that was really fun, and at least I mean, we humiliated Murat by his playing, and that was amazing. Yeah, that was amazing. so okay, now I'm gonna take 30. So we're gonna take 30 minutes to talk with you about equalization and starting this topic. So we have discussed ways to change the spectral balance. We just did it, like indirectly with other factors. But now let's focus on equalizers for a while. Then we will focus on compressors, and we will focus on all things that affect the frequency response of things, or the the spectral balance of things. So okay, there are different types of equalizers and filters. We're gonna study a couple of things. Number one, type of filters, and number two, different equalizers. Okay, like we will study like different analog equalizers, its versions, the digital versions. We're gonna see them in detail. We're gonna try them too and see the difference. Apply like the same frequencies to using like a Neve emulation, and then using a, I don't know, like a FAB filter or whatever. So we have high pass filters.
I think you're presenting.
What's up about presenting? You're not seeing this?
You're showing the screen right now.
Wow, that's weird. I was showing it. Sorry for that, bro.
Yeah, you were. It just disappeared.
Ah, that's. I think it's, yeah. I think it's we can create a conspiracy theory about this. Google didn't wanted me to show you that, but anyways, we will defeat Google. So let me just move out from here. I want to disconnect the mic. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Just we don't need this second mic to be running. And all right, so we are going to be seeing high pass, low pass, band pass, graphic equalizers, and parametric equalizers. Before I start here, like, I just want to test like your level of concentration and your level of knowledge. Everybody knows what's the Q, right? Yeah, the Q.
Yeah.
How do you calculate it?
What? What does it mean, calculated?
How do you как по-русски это сказать? Как ты высчитываешь ее? Да?
I don't calculate it, I just feel it.
Sure, sure, but I mean, would you feel comfortable if a pilot of an airplane tells you, like, listen, I don't calculate how to land the airplane, I just feel it? No, I'm really joking with that. I'm really joking with that. Like, I mean, it's not like I'm in the studio and I'm like calculating the Q factor, of course, but I mean.
You mean like from 20 kilohertz to 20,000 kilohertz?
No,
range?
no, that's the Q. I mean, Q в equalizer есть такие параметры, прогиб. We will see it. We will see it in a minute. But I was just, the reason why I introduced myself, this part of the lecture like that, is because, yeah, we all know what a high-pass filter is, low-pass filters, band-pass filters, graphic equalizers, and parametric. We know all of this. But when I ask, do we know how to calculate the Q? We have no idea. And it's super simple, you will see, because these are things that we know, they're intuitive, but we are pros, and we have to know what it is and what it's going to be. So, and how to calculate it, sorry. So filters are those things that remove a range or band of frequencies, obviously, and equalizers have a capacity of apply several types of filters. So a filter and an equalizer is not the same. It's kind of like a filter is something that an equalizer can do. It's very stupid, very obvious. Now, I want to tell you a bit of a story that is pretty cool. Do you know why an equalizer is called an equalizer? And have any ideas? Yeah, it's pretty fascinating story. You see, like, when you imagine making a phone call from in the 1920s. Imagine making a phone call from Vladivostok to St. Petersburg. It's like, you will need to connect a cable from Vladivostok to St. Petersburg. And you will need to send a signal, an electrical powered signal, from Vladivostok to St. Petersburg. And the signal has to arrive. So, I mean, it needs power. It needs electricity, really. Like, if not, it will not arrive. So it would be really cool if you can, imagine, remove parts of the signal, and when it arrives to St. Petersburg, make it equal as it was in Vladivostok. And so, because if you remove a part of the signal and then send it, you will need less power to send it. So that's why it's called equalizer, because it's to make it equal from where it was, as it was in the place where it arrived. So it's a process of adjusting the balance between frequencies, components of an electronic signal. I want you to know that, I mean, maybe this is the day when you're going to feel this thing that I have been shocked and amazed all my adult life about, you know, it's really weird that there is a linearity between audio signals and electrical signals. It's really weird. It's very, very weird. I mean, how come I can, like, if I do this and I'm equalizing my voice, kind of, like, I mean, I'm changing the frequency spectrum of my voice, but I can reproduce this with an EQ. Why? I mean, why? Why is it possible, really? I mean, I understand that without that, biology will not be possible, because because basically we run electrical signals inside our body. So, I mean, it seems to be really, like, rooted in the fabrics of nature, you know, that the nature of waves inside a medium like air is the same nature of waves as inside a cable, you know, but this is super abstract stuff. And the fact that the reason why I'm telling you this is because the equalization is something that doesn't apply only to audio, you know, like it's something that applies to electrical and engineering as well. And when you are a person who is running like the power plants or the power grid of the country, you're also thinking about this type of things. But it's not like audio. You're just filtering certain frequencies of electricity, because that's what we're doing. We're filtering some frequencies of electricity. We are so far away from this because we are used to kind of working inside in a digital world, but what we're really doing is, imagine that you put a metal, you know, that stops certain, like, I mean, you need to see that the frequencies of electricity is like electricity vibrating, you know, in all directions. I don't even know how to conceive this visually in my head. I just really have no idea how to do that. But now we have discussed things like resistance and impedance in the past, like in some moments. And so imagine putting a piece of metal that stops certain type of electricity to go through. So that's kind of what a filter is. It's filtering it. So I don't know, like right now, this cloth, you know, is stopping certain frequencies from getting out of my mouth to being projecting towards the room. So if you put a piece of metal of a certain characteristics inside a cable, it would stop 10K from moving forwards. Tell me more about what you mean.
There are three types of
Radiation, you mean like nuclear radiation or something like that?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Alpha rays,
Yes,
beta rays,
yes,
and
yes,
gamma rays.
yes, yes.
And alpha rays can be stopped with literally just a piece of paper.
Great example, man.
Beta rays can be stopped with
Some metal, and the other one with like a kilometer of lead or something. Yeah. So for those of you who are online, Sebastian gave a really cool example that when there is radiation like coming out from Chernobyl or something like that, there are alpha, gamma, and beta rays being projected outwards. And so there are materials that can stop alpha rays, beta rays, and gamma rays. So you can see it like that. There are, and actually, dude, I have not thought about that example. It's a beautiful, perfect example to visualize this. Thank you very much. Because it also means something. Alpha rays, gamma rays, and beta rays, well, I don't know which one is the most energetic one, gamma. So the more energetic the ray is, the more the different material and more intensity, I don't know, like, or intensity of isolation you will need. And you need to understand that the high frequencies are more intense than the low frequencies. They're more intense than the mid-range. So the same happens with light, for example, and things like that. So great. Well, and I already described this to you, so I'm not going to go through this so much. Okay, the thing is that we used to, like, we just want two signals to be the same, you know, and there was an uncorrected signal, and then there is a corrected signal. So it's kind of like, you see, when there is like a telephone wire from Vladivostok to St. Petersburg, this is kind of how the signal original was looking, and then this is what was sent over the wires. And then on the other side, the reverse process was applied to try to return to this. And so this is way easier to transmit electronically than this. And in the process, actually, in the process of figuring this shit out, it's how we develop the Fletcher and Monson curves, by the way. Do you remember those Fletcher and Monson curves that I talked to you so much about? Equal loudness contours. They're going to appear today. If you don't remember it quickly, I'm not going to go through it right now because we will talk a lot about it. So, great. So, obviously, Fourier comes back to our lives here, and we remember that we can decompose complex waveforms into simpler waveforms. And so when I decompose complex waveforms into simpler waveforms, I get their harmonic component. And then if I can just take this thing and flip it out of phase, I can remove that part, right? Do you understand that? Like if I can take, imagine that I take this one, I take this frequency here. 1 second, bro. I take this frequency and I flip it out of phase, and then I sum it to all of this. I will remove that component from that signal. Roma, do you remember phase cancellations?
Yes.
Okay, so do you remember that complex waveforms can be broken down into simpler waveforms?
Complex waveforms, you mean...
Look
what?
at the red one. Look at
This
the red
red
one.
is complex waveform.
Yeah, and look at the blue ones.
Blue one is simple waveform. Yeah.
And the blue one, if you sum all the blue ones, you get the red one.
If you...
So if I take, you see, like imagine the second blue one that you see there. Well, right now let's wait for the GIFCA to reset itself. Actually, let me make a screenshot here so I don't have to wait every time and I can discuss this more calmly.
How the complex waveform become to this blue graph? I don't know.
Tell me something. What is the number 8?
8.
I mean, how do you arrive to the number 8? How can you calculate the number 8? How can you produce the number 8? Okay, but you can also arrive through it by grabbing let's say yes, and you can also arrive to it. So I mean, the number 8 can be decomposed into a number of simpler components, right? So wait, let's.
I just don't understood the last this blue graph. Yeah, just blue line with columns. What does it mean? The last picture.
It's out of our conversation right now. I mean, we don't need to talk about this right now. What we need to talk about this is what you're seeing in the screen right now.
It's just that complex waveform is a combination of simple waveforms.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm discussing this right now is because I'm trying to explain you how an EQ works. Yo, guys, sorry, it's a bit hard to keep track for me for what's going on. So the reason why I'm talking to you about this right now is so we can discuss how an EQ works. Because you see, I have the red waveform, right? And then I have like a blue, there is a first blue waveform and the second blue waveform. Imagine that I grab the second one and I reverse the phase of it. So what will happen if I sum it back to the red one?
Oh my gosh. So you take second waveform
and flip the
and
phase.
you reverse the phase.
Yeah, and then I sum it back to the beginning.
There will be out of phase?
I will remove that component.
What component?
Like, okay, imagine, let's do it like this. Do you see me here in the screen?
1 second.
Yeah. Can you please?
Yeah.
Do you see me? Yeah?
Yeah.
So, red one, right? Number 1. Blue one, number 2. Blue one, number 3 here. Yeah?
3 is going with when the red is going down.
Bro, like you don't need to. You're overthinking it. You're overthinking it. It's just look at this. If I take this, I have this waveform here. What happens if I reverse the phase of it and I sum it to itself?
Summit. Summit. Пацаны, что такое summit? Я забыл. Объединить?
Суммирует.
Суммир.
So let me put this like this. What happens if I do this? Imagine that I do this. I think I know how to explain you this in an easier way. So if I do this, 8 equals 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, right? Okay, so what happens if I do this? I grab this. This is the second component of this. Component number 1, component number 2, component number 3, component number 4. So I take this and I do this. Okay, I'm going to grab component number 2 and I'm going to change the phase of component number 2. So what do I get there? I get 6. I don't get 8 anymore.
So it will be like out of phase.
I will grab the second component and change the phase of it. The phase can be plus or minus. So I took the second component.
In the result, what do we have?
We have 8 minus 2. 8 minus 2, so it's 6. So now imagine something like this. I'm being very brutal here. Please don't take this so seriously. I'm being very brutal here. Imagine that I have 200 hertz. So 200 hertz, imagine that I have a complete waveform of 200 hertz. This is really not how it works. I'm just doing this to give you an exemplification of how it works. So imagine that I can separate this into 25 hertz plus 25 hertz plus 25 hertz plus 25 hertz. So this equals 200 hertz. And then I take this and I reverse the phase of the second component. So now I get 175 hertz. So I just made an equalizer Bro, can you turn down my microphone or something? I can hear me through you. Yeah, yeah, thanks. I just made an equalizer that took away 25 hertz from a waveform of 200 hertz. So the way an equalizer works is that it takes a complex signal, breaks it down into pieces, reverse the phase of one. That's a digital equalizer. Reverse the phase of one of the components, and then sums it back to itself, and then it removes it. Now, like an analog equalizer works like the alpha, gamma, or beta thing. I mean, I run the signal through some components that stop certain energy, you know, and then when you are moving the pot in your equalizer or changing a knob, like you're changing the path of the signal inside the circuit.
So you talk about construction of equalizer, yes?
Correct.
Just take one component of the complex waveform.
Correct.
And change it, yeah? Make it
reverses.
or more strong, yeah?
No, reverse the phase of it. I mean, and sumset in a certain, and sumset back to itself.
So the main function of equalizer is phase cancellation, yeah?
The equalizers work by the digital equalizers work by phase cancellation basically, and also analog equalizers too. They can also work like that. So if I move to the next slide, this is a really cool one, by the way. Check this one out. This is also like a Fourier kind of. This GIF is really cool. Oh, it's very trippy. And actually, this explains this question that you had from, or what are those columns? It's just like a different ways of visualize harmonics. Like it's just a different way to visualize the amplitude spectrum. But this is a cool way to see how signals are kind of broken into parts. But anyways, that's.
I'm sorry. I just want to like, for example, yeah, I have like a signal and I want to make I don't know, low pass on it. So low pass is like phase cancellation of low frequencies.
You can see it like that. I'm sure that if an electrical engineer that is very knowledgeable on this hears me talking about this, he would be really angry. I'm sure that this is more complex than what I'm putting it to you. But for that, one would go to Moscow Electronics School, not to Moscow Music School. I mean, I just want you to have an orientation of how a principle, an EQ works. Let's go through this slide.
Okay.
Really, man. Like, I mean, it's really interesting that you don't understand anything. I mean, we have been talking about this for a long time already. Like, it's like when you sum things that are out of phase, they cancel each other. And then you can just sum the low end, and then the low end cancels each other. That's as simple as that. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to understand what's the hard part to get there.
Okay, I will.
And it's really cool. It's really cool if you don't understand it. I just trying to understand should I tell you to help you to understand it further. Like, I mean, signals can be broken down into simpler components. Do you understand that?
I understand that the equalizer is breaking the complex waveform to the components.
Duh.
And it can change the components of complex waveform by phase cancellation.
But you just said that you don't understand anything, and you just repeated everything correctly.
Yeah, but when I ask you, for example, if I take waveform and I want to make low pass, so it will be if we talk roughly, yeah?
Yeah.
That low pass is the phase cancellation of low frequencies, right?
Yeah, it could be seen like that.
So, okay, then I all understood. Thank God.
Look, this is better than sitting down and just not doing anything and, I don't know, whatever, checking out VK or Telegram or Instagram or something. So I really love that you're talking and intervening. Like, if I sometimes get a bit frustrated, it's just because I want to understand what's up, okay? But I really want you to continue doing this. It's really important. I really mean it. So now, really what I said and how I said it is very rough version of how the reality is. So if you go and talk to an electrical engineer and and you repeat him what I said, and the electrical engineer look at you like, what the fuck this guy told you, please don't be angry at me. I mean, I'm just trying you to feel this, to feel it. Now, what's happening inside an EQ? Well, either things are getting out of phase and some back to each other. And actually, Roma, this first image that you see there. Wait, I remember I have a better. I had a slide that I guess I lost in the making of the presentation, which is about interference. Actually, let me just load it here because it's an important slide. I will find it. It's kind of like I've used this slide many times and it's easy to find. It's this one. Interference is this one. Yeah, let me just bring it back here, because I mean it will be misleading to think that the equalizer is actually like breaking down the signal into different components. It would be misleading to think like that. The equalizer is grabbing the signal and summing it to itself a little bit out of phase. That's the best way to see it. It's just like we know that if you grab the same signal and sum it to itself X amount of microseconds before, it will isolate 200 hertz. Did you felt that?
Fuck. So you mean that what sum it with waveform? What do you mean?
Look,
It's not
let's read this text down here. Interference between two sinusoidal waveforms. So this is grabbing two sine tones, one with 1 hertz and one with 1.1 hertz. Do you understand what that means? Okay.
No. 1 hertz, 1.1 hertz. Where it is on picture?
It's on the text down. An interference between two sinusoidal waveforms, 1 hertz and 1.1 hertz. So the meaning of that is that I have two waveforms. One is 1 hertz and the other one is 1.1 hertz.
I understood.
And now I want to sum them with each other. In Russian it means суммировать, верно? Я хочу суммировать их. Но второй waveform я чуть-чуть позже играю, не сразу. So look at the first part of the chart where it says A. I took the 1.1 hertz and I sum it to the 1 hertz sine tone. The result is the frequency that the waveform that you see below.
So we combine two waveforms
Yes.
into one waveform.
Correct.
And it became like.
It becomes like a new
Why
waveform.
is it not so stable? Like it has a peak.
Great. You're getting to the point. Because look at the chart above, and you will see that the waveform A and waveform B get slightly out of phase, and when they sum each other, they produce a new waveform.
So when in the middle of picture A, where the difference is a lot more than in the beginning.
Correct.
And then it
Correct.
become like
Correct.
this, space.
Yeah, because it's directly out of phase.
So equalizer just like make it plain.
The equalizer grabs the same signal that you have, my voice, and just sums it to itself with certain modifications. So the result of that, it's like 200 hertz of my voice alone.
200 hertz.
I'm telling an example. You understand? I'm telling an example. Like, I mean, it can be 1,000 hertz, 5,000 hertz. I mean, you're performing a mathematical operation. What are the parts of that mathematical operation? The part A of that mathematical operation is my voice. The part B of that mathematical operation is my voice. Again, the same signal. And I'm going to sum it to each other so I can isolate one of the components of my voice. And then I can take that isolated component and do whatever I want with that. Somebody wants to say something else? Wait. Who was? Yeah. You wrote something there. But shouldn't just be more quiet? Why do certain frequencies are weakened? Great question. Because if I would be a mathematical genius, which I am not, I will know that if I sum my... I mean, remember, let me just make a little drawing here. And I really love this. This is, for me, this is a super cool lecture. That's how they should be. We should be discussing these things. Like it's... I don't think that that it's true that we are really getting these things super clearly. It's very complicated. Like I don't think it's simple. Let me
Just always took it like as just a general truth, but I never
Exactly.
understood why certain frequencies are.
Exactly. So imagine this is Leo's voice. Blah 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 blah. Okay. And so I take Leo's voice. Let's call this component 1. just to like, or waveform 1. Let's call it like that. Waveform 1, wave 1. And then I take wave 1, and I take wave 1 again. And let's call this, let's call this time 0, okay? Do you understand what I mean, time equals 0? Like in mathematics, it means that no time has passed. We're in the beginning of waveform Leo, which is here. This is time 0. And then I get the same waveform, and I move it a little bit. So, actually, in mathematics, this should be expressed like this. Time equals t. And this one, like time equals t plus 1, which means that I moved it a little bit. So it's exactly the same waveform, but in here it was starting in the 0 moment in the axis. And then I have the same waveform, but it doesn't start in the 0 moment in the axis, but it starts a little bit later. Do you understand that? I'm asking to the guys, do you understand that? Okay, so imagine that, and now I change this name of this, and I call this waveform 2, because the waveform 2, now it's like, it's the same as waveform 1, but it's a little bit later than waveform 1. Do you agree? Can I do that? Do you agree with that? Do you understand what I mean?
Understood.
Okay, wait, let me finish this explanation, and then you can say something, okay? I'm going to call this waveform 2, which is wave 1 at t plus 1. Great. So then I'm going to do this. I'm going to grab wave 1, and then I'm going to sum it to wave 2, which are the same waveforms. It's just like the second one is starting a little bit later. And so you see, like, I did this drawing really bad, but if I would have done it more cool, you would realize that sometimes when this waveform is down here, this waveform is up here. So if I grab waveform 1 plus 2, I'm going to end up with something that is like this, and then it disappears, and then it's like this again. And so if I would be a mathematical genius, I will know all the modifications of t that I have to do in order to isolate certain components of the waveform. So maybe this thing sounds like my voice, but only like my voice, but only 200 hertz from it. Yeah? Can you feel that?
Yeah, understood.
Okay, and now, Grisha, to answer your question, imagine that now I take this and I subtract it to this. I flip the phase and I sum it to this. And now I remove 200 hertz from my voice. Or the opposite, or I take this and I sum it to this. And now I just added 200 hertz to my voice. You see? I took my voice waveform, I sum it in a certain time difference, so I isolated 200 hertz from it, and then I sum it back to its original waveform to remove 200 hertz from it. So what I did was this. Like, I took this thing, I broke it into pieces, I took this thing, I separated one of the components, and then I sum it back to the red one, and then I boosted 200 hertz. Or I subtracted back from the rest one, and I removed 200 hertz.
So, because complicated waveform can be broken into simple waveforms,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You can actually count out the time that you need.
Yes. Yes. You got it, bro.
Well, one simple waveform that is one frequency. Right?
Yes. Yes. You can calculate the time that you need to delay the signal in order to isolate X amount of hertz in order to sum it back so you can remove those hertz.
I get it.
And that's why equipment, and this is important to everybody who is in the room and everybody here, that's why equipment has feedback problems. Because you're always summing back the signal to the beginning. And so if the thing is badly calibrated, you have a bad frequency, a bad phase relationship between the original signal and a new signal that was generated. Roma, how are you doing there?
Yeah, I'm loading.
Great, great, great.
It's I'm understood though, but I'm just now interested to check all my projects for phase cancellation.
You will.
Very interesting how the sound
The
of
thing-
my
sure.
music will change.
Sure, but no, I mean, the thing is that I'm kind of like giving you a simplified, rough version of this, so you will not hear this in your projects or something. And also, I mean, it's a lot more complex than this. Like, actually, in the past, actually, it's here. Like, the mathematics of what I'm talking to you about is pretty intense. You know, it's something that is totally outside of the scope of these bachelors. But if you want to see something about this, you should go to the slides and see what I put here and check it out. Okay.
Okay.
So look, and I guess that's really cool. That I'm really happy that the lecture ended up here, and then I can start from here next lecture. Now, so the last thing I want to do, now that we went through this explanation and we felt it a bit, so I want to read this thing. Initially, all equalizers were analog electronic circuits using capacitors and inductors. That's the gamma ray. Man, every time I say gamma ray, I hear a. Do you know Beck? You know the artist Beck, the musician? I hear the song called Gamma Ray by Beck, and I'm like, and because I love that song so much. Gamma Ray. So sorry, yeah, my crazy mind. So initially, all equalizers were electronic and analog circuits, which were working like that. It's like, I want to stop 10,000 hertz. Put some metal there that just stops 10,000 hertz. Great, you have an EQ. And so also those things work with phase shifting and passing electricity through it. If you combine a signal with phase shifting version of itself after passing it through the capacitor or inductor, this is a case of an analog equalizer, the frequency response is altered. So when the two are combined, you have the cancel frequency plus the original one, and then you get a signal that has been either boosted or removed. So analog equalizer work by intensely shifting the phase and then combining the original signal with the shifted version. Without phase shift, EQs would not work at all. So that's pretty cool. So okay, what are we going to see next? So we orient ourselves. I'm going to stop the lecture here. We're going to see the types of filters. We're going to understand the type of filters. We're going to discuss a guy called George Masseburg, which is a really important guy in the world of audio. And then we're going to do a little exercise. I just want you to use the EQ. So we're going to do a little exercise. I want you to isolate all these frequencies. And there's a reason why I chose those frequencies. You will understand that later, why I chose those frequencies. We will do this in the next lecture. And I will not be a homework. Like, I want to do it here with you guys. And I want to see, what do you call the low end? I want to see where that ends. I want to see, what do you call the mid-low end without Googling it. And I want to see, what do you call the high-mid range? And I want to see, what do you call the high range? And then we will discuss equalizers more deeply. And also we will see, like, legendary EQs. Like, EQs that are really cool, and discuss that. And the next part, it will be for the how to become good at equalizing. We will see it in the yeah, but that we will see it like in February or something, because I'm gonna leave that for the mixing course. But we will see all of this, like how to become good at equalizer and all of that. So there is cool stuff ahead. Rom, I really appreciate this, and I want you to always stay like that. Like I told you, it's really important that you don't let me go until you understand something. Okay?
Okay.
I really love this. Like it's important, and I wish that everybody does it. Like it's really cool. Thank you very much, everybody, and that's today's lecture. So see you next week. Sorry that it was a bit shorter, but yeah, I want to give you your break fully so you can have a rest before the next one. So bye, guys.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Same to you, Bratan. Thank you very much. Hope to see you all soon. Grisha, thank you. And by the way, Grisha, I'm also enjoying a lot of our interactions lately. I hope that yesterday lecture was really cool together, like what we were discussing of modes, and now we're discussing this, and it's really cool. I mean, I'm really happy.
Actually, there's this future hour, right?
Yeah, you can book it, bro. You can book it, of course.
Right? Yeah, I just
Yeah.
was wondering how I could ask you.
Just write me on Telegram. I want to do this tomorrow. Like, it has to be one day before.
Tomorrow, I'm not sure.
Yeah, just write me. Like, I want to do it on Monday, whatever, and we do it. Okay? Okay, sure. Actually, today we could meet a little bit, but